Sam, could you start by kicking us off with a bit of the Polystream story? Where have they come from and what's the problem they're trying to achieve for the marketplace?
Polystream was born when our two founders, Bruce Grove and Adam Billiard, met for a breakfast in a greasy cafe in Guildford, which is about 20 miles from London out here in the UK. Bruce was the general manager of the world's first direct-to-consumer cloud gaming platform OnLive, and Adam had been the architecture of Renderware. He'd set up Criterion Games. He was a co-founder there that got acquired by EA. And so the two had been working in the cloud gaming space and in the graphics and rendering space for a number of years. Adam met Bruce because Adam had said to Bruce, "Why are you streaming that way? There's another way to do it." And Bruce, of course, said, "Well, after 10 years, I think I know a little bit about it." But what Adam showed him that day was a completely new way to stream content from the cloud. And we call that command streaming. And in that moment, in that meeting, in that cafe, Polystream was very much born, and we have spent the past 6 years building our command streaming technology. And what we mean by command streaming is, rather than delivering content from the cloud via a GPU and squeezing video together and then sending it to your device, which isn't a great experience, we use CPUs and intelligent edge, and we instead use graphic commands. We command stream, and we tell the GPU in your device what to draw instead. It's super complicated. It's super magic. I think it is magic. And this has led us to coming to market with a new product called Phantom, which allows you as a spectator to jump into experiences without having to download them and without having to have a very expensive device in order to be able to access these experiences. Because we're not relying on a GPU per person to be in the cloud to have that experience, because we're telling your GPU and telling that what to draw, we can scale to unimaginable numbers of people at the same time. Polystream is very much about shared social experiences. It's about pulling people into those experiences. It's about taking people on journeys together and connecting in ways that you can only do with command streaming and the cloud. That's in a nutshell what we are, and thankfully we have people like Cheryl who are far more engineering technically brilliantly savvy than I am. My job is to tell people about what Polystream does, and this year we are in the market. We are doing trials with customers, and so this is a really exciting time for us to be sharing our story.
Perfect, thank you. Can you talk to us a little bit about some of the benefits for the marketplace? Because I'm guessing what that offers is a very, very quick opportunity to scale up and down in real time, leveraging the world that we've lived in with SaaS for a while, and with now so many virtual data centers. I'm guessing then there must also be a wider opportunity for any industry that has a real time need. I know when we've talked in the past, you've talked about some of the services are providing kind of video training to people in very remote areas. Is that something that you're able to sort of allude on with some of the other wider uses of the technology as well?
Absolutely. So we've been doing trials with defense training and simulation industries. We know that game engines and game related technology are powering industries like automotive industries, where you've got car configurators, architecture, engineering and construction, where you are designing a building from scratch, but then you want to take somebody through that experience. And right now, all of those experiences are delivered on a one-to-one basis, and it's really hard to share them collaboratively. So as Cheryl was saying, one of the things that we've been working really hard on is the experience. It is very much about connecting people within that experience, being able to easily send them a link and say, hey, come and join me. And that can be for work purposes, for training purposes, if it's from a business point of view. Right now, yes, we've started with games, but how many industries are being powered by game technologies, that's very much where Polystream sees itself in the future.
I think the possibilities are pretty much endless, right? I think I call it the times of BC, right? Before COVID. The world has changed, and the way that consumers interact with technology has always also changed. Everybody expects everything to be instant. Nobody wants lag. Nobody wants to wait. I'm getting very impatient when I'm trying to log into a Zoom call and kind of get the spinning dot, of death. Everybody wants transactions to happen instantaneously. And the world of social, because we've been locked away in our homes, you can only interact with people through the use of technology. So conferences, shopping experiences, things where you can actually interact and you go, actually, I've seen an ad on something and I want to take my friends on that journey and go into that virtual shoe shop or whatever it might be. That honestly, you could sit here all day and just dream up all these ideas of how you could use it. And that's what me and Tam do quite frequently as well. The possibilities are endless.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm keen to jump into some of the xMatters specific experience. So, Cheryl, one of the things that I've been really excited about seeing your journey at Polystream is how you are building from the start to be future-proofed. That was something that quite wowed me initially because, as a startup, as Tam said, you've been testing markets, you've been perfecting your product, you've been doing lots of POCs with people. And in my experience of other startups, you're kind of always starting on the bare minimum. You're trying to prove stuff out and do everything as lean as possible. Well, whereas what I've really enjoyed with Polystream is the fact that you're preparing for that scale from day one.
Well, I think one of the key things is it's not just implementing a technology, it's implementing a mindset. And I think that mindset is really important to get the team into, we're going to have a platform that's going to be 24/7, 365. And we need to make sure that we have the team in place to respond to incidents. So we've had a couple of conversations with xMatters where Damien's came in and had conversations with us about how we can set up some of your new products. And I just think that the innovation is there and it gives us more capability than that just flat, there's an incident, I'm going to call somebody in the middle of the night and get them out of bed, right? There's so much more capability here, how we can plug it into our developer stack, how we can plug it into our CI/CD. So we're thinking about that before our platform goes live, because I think it's really important, because these sort of things, monitoring, alerting, they're always an afterthought. God, we need to do this, we're going to go live with our platform next week, and there's a mad rush. I think you need to be more, precise about and prescriptive about what you're implementing. So that was kind of the journey that I had with xMatters, and it was a bit of a no-brainer because I had the relationship with you guys and I knew that it definitely fitted the requirements that we had.
You talked there also about proactive incident management and around, automation, and for a lot of xMatters customers, that's where they get a lot of value. Just not only the automated tasks, i.e. whenever you see this incident, always take this action because I know that's the action that needs, but actually that middle step of, well, when I get this particular alert through, from a monitoring tool, it could be one of these three things, but what I want is at the click of a button to make a decision. Am I rolling back a release? Am I taking this action? Am I taking that action? So I'd love to know a little bit more about what you've got integrated to xMatters at the moment, what your vision is for future integrations. Maybe thinking with Flow Designer in mind as well, of thinking about closed loop integrations rather than sort of one-to-one system alerting.
Yes, I think that was one of the things I got really excited about. I think the ability for an engineer not to get called out in the middle of the night and have to log onto a console, that if there is an issue that we can fix by a click of a button on his mobile phone, and then that individual goes back to sleep. I think, or, get to the point where we're not even having to wake up the engineers. xMatters gently taps you on the shoulder in the morning and says, right, we had an incident in the middle of the night, but don't worry, it's fixed because I did this for you. That's what I want. I love the ingenuity of the platform that gives us that capability. And to be honest with you, that's quite a steep hill to kind of, step into, because of the fact that we have to build in that capability, and we have to build in that know-how into the platform so that we can, the system knows what to do. xMatters knows what to do when it finds a problem. We don't know all of our problems, so we are going to get kind of called out in the middle of the night. It is going to happen for a while. But also it's teaching the team that mindset of kind of how to fix things. And if they don't want to be woken up in the night, then it's down to them to help me better integrate xMatters into our existing platforms and our CI and automation and deployment tools so that they can step away from it and have a good night's sleep and not be woken up. So there is a lot of functionality that you need to tie in. You need to set the systems up so they integrate. Workflow Manager is really awesome. I remember being really excited. I get really excited by technology. I'm sorry, I'm going to put that out there. I jump around. But I equally show my team and they get equally as excited. So I'm not alone in it. But that ability to end-to-end tie in your entire development and production stack into a product like xMatters, where you can, you get an issue, it raises an issue and kind of it knows what to do and it does a few steps and then fixes it for you. So Workflow Manager is easy to use, and I think that ease of use, we talk about our technology being easy to use. xMatters is also easy to use. So we've got a new hire starting next week who one of their first tasks will be to work on the Workflow Manager and bring that up to speed. So we'll be building out more capability into what we have, because our stack has changed since we last touched it, probably even a few weeks or months ago.
Absolutely. Thank you. Okay, final questions from me. If you met your friend down the pub later who said, "Cool, I've really got a problem," and you said, "I know a tool just for that," how would you describe us in a paragraph, Tam?
How would I describe you in a paragraph? If I'm down the pub, I'm going to be with people that have never heard about xMatters. And maybe that is it. It's like, actually, xMatters is the thing that your friends won't have heard of because you've already dealt with everything you need to before they've even realised there was a problem.
I love that. I love that. It's kind of xMatters is your solution for dealing with incident management while you sleep.
Yeah. It's a bit like theatre, isn't it? When you're an audience member, you never really know when there's a problem. There might be all sorts of chaos happening backstage, but from an audience point of view, you don't know what the show should have been or what was actually happening in the background. You just have a really great time with it. If I was to explain xMatters to somebody that wasn't technical at all, i.e. probably myself, my sister, maybe my cat, I'd probably use more of an analogy around it to do with the fact that no plan survives contact with the enemy. Things always go wrong. But when you have something behind you that is helping you take care of the world when the world is on fire, it's a comfort. And for us, it's certainly xMatters is our comfort blanket.